In 1989, The Little Mermaid was released, starting the Disney Renaissance era. And in 1999, Tarzan was released, ending it. Now, the Disney Renaissance is possibly the best Disney era in my opinion, and I reckon a lot of people would agree. So it's time to rank all 10 Disney Renaissance movies, from worst to best. Now, just before we get started, I am the Movie Master, so on this channel I talk about all things around movies. So I do reviews, rankings, and a whole lot more movies related stuff. So if you feel like the type of stuff is for you, remember to like and subscribe, and let's get going. In last place is Pocahontas. The one thing I did like about this film was the animation. It had beautiful scenery around the character designs. However, the main problem I had around this film is that it felt predictable and rather forgettable. It was a love story between a man from the city and a lady from the tribe in the forest. So I was watching this film where I just knew that the man was going to get captured and then he was going to get saved by the woman and that they'll all live happily ever after. I also thought this story had already been done. It actually felt rather like Tarzan. And I know Tarzan came out after Pocahontas, but Tarzan, you can actually remember the story and the characters. So that's why it comes in at number 10. Flying in at 9th place is The Rescuers Down Under. I actually have quite big nostalgia for this one, as I used to watch it quite a lot on video at my grandma's house. And I didn't watch it for about 8 years until about a week ago. And I kind of enjoyed it. Growing up, I never really loved this film, although I still used to enjoy it quite a lot. The main thing that stunned me was that I actually forgot that the mice were the main characters. In fact, I forgot they even existed, which I find pretty phenomenal. I never actually saw the first one, as this is a sequel to a movie from
the Disney Dark Ages,
an era that started in 1970. Because I think it pretty much had the mice all the way through, and they are pretty plain, boring characters. So when I was watching the scenes with the mice in it, I just wanted to see what was happening with Jake. Speaking of Jake, one of the main plot points in this movie was the separation of Jake and the eagle. But you just can't feel so much sympathy for these two characters, as they only met 4 minutes into the film, and they get separated 5 minutes later. Swinging in at number 8 is Tarzan. I don't think I ever saw this when I was growing up. So when I finally was able to watch it on Disney Plus, I had no idea what I should be expecting. I have to say I was a little let down on this one, as I felt it was a big waste of a good opportunity. I thought the pacing of the film was a little bit off. I feel that they skipped quite a big section of the film, as Tarzan seems to be the same character all the way through the movie. What I did like about the film was the romance. It never felt sloppy, it didn't become cringe, and I really liked the way Jane interacted with Tarzan. Another thing I liked was the villain. He's funny when he needs to be funny, he's scary when he needs to be scary, and it just makes for a fun, exciting adventure. Coming in at 7th place is Hercules. Now before I talk about this one, each movie beyond this point, I didn't really have any massive problems with. Some I just like a little bit more than others. What I absolutely dug on this one was the animation. Disney wanted to try something new and it worked once more. The movie starts off with singing pictures on the wall and then cuts to life in heaven and all the characters are glowing. I also really like the characters and the side characters, especially you've got Danny DeVito as Phil and James Wood as Hades. What let me down a little bit was it was kind of all over the place in the fact that there were too many plot points to introduce. I think it could have been a bit better if they just stuck to 2 or 3. But besides that, it was a fun and interesting movie. In 6th place is The Little Mermaid. Now I really like this film. You've got romance, underwater fantasy and singing lobsters. Basically everything you want in a fun, entertaining Disney movie. Also the score was pretty much perfect in this movie. What lost me with the film was the finale. After watching a relaxing movie about speechless mermaids who falls in love with a rich man, I Didn't really want to watch a battle between a merwitch and a mermaid fight to death, but it was a great movie, just could have been a little bit better. 5th place is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Once again, Disney tried something new and it worked, as this is by far the darkest Disney movie on this list, as it was originally a novel by Victor Hugo. Now, I understand quite a few people don't like this movie as they struggle to understand what age it is for. Although most of these people are parents, not knowing what age the kid should be to watch this movie. But I, being a kid, liked how it's all about death and destruction and a bit of romance. I also do find it a bit odd how it's a romance between a prostitute during the French uprising. In 4th place is Beauty and the Beast. The 3rd movie in the Disney Renaissance was new, original, fun, and actually the first animated movie ever to get nominated for Best Picture. With an amazing colour scheme and an epic score, this is a movie that no character inside of it is particularly a bad person. Everyone just wants their way, and that causes a lot of disagreements and romance. The songs get stuck in your head and the voices are phenomenal, which makes for a great film. Kicking up the top 3 is Mulan. Now, unlike the remake, which I try to forget about because it's freaking bad, change is a big thing in this movie. The movie starts off with a scared, clumsy girl who you would never think would be a fighter. And by the end of the movie, she's a badass woman who saved the day. This movie also has the best song. I'll make a man out of you. In any Disney movie ever, in my opinion. And also, it has Eddie Murphy in the role of Mushu. It was the best talking dragon ever put to screen. The runner-up is The Lion King. The reason this movie is so good is that half of the movie is Simba as a cub showing a large origin of how he progressed from a cute little cub into a fierce lion. This movie is about responsibility and regret. It's about a cub feeling guilty for his father's death. So he leaves home and turns into a responsible adult. Also, the wacky side characters are memorable. I can remember each and every one of their names, and it's funny when it needs to be funny, and it's sad when it needs to be sad, which makes an epic movie. But coming in 1st place is Aladdin. This is the most fun, light-hearted Disney movie ever. The reason this is in 1st place for me is that I can watch the movie when I'm feeling happy, sad, angry, and any other emotion you can think of. Robin Williams plays the genie better than anyone else possibly could. Every single song in this movie I know off by heart, and Abu is cuter than Baby Yoda and Paul combined. I also like how Aladdin meets Jasmine quite early on in the film. That's kind of nice. With amazing characters, amazing songs, Aladdin comes in at number 1.